The holiday season is breakup season for dismissive avoidants and fearful avoidants that lean dismissive. What should be a time of joy, coming together, togetherness, family, friends, and getting closer to your significant other can be a time of absolute heartache and despair for the partner of the avoidant. It's not uncommon for them to pull away a ton, really distance themselves, or completely blindside and discard their partner right before, during, or after the holidays. It can really ruin the holidays and put an absolute devastating, painful reminder every year on that holiday season. Holidays can be very triggering for an avoidant, and it's for a couple different reasons. The first reason is that the holidays naturally bring people together. There is closeness that builds. You're spending more time with each other's families. You're spending more time with each other's friends. You're spending special memories together. That builds closeness. It builds emotional intimacy between them and their partner. Also, it makes the relationship more real. And when the relationship becomes real, that is a very triggering thing for the avoidant. Because early in the relationship, it's the shared fantasy. It's not a real relationship yet because there's no real emotional intimacy, there's no real commitment, there's no real disagreements or expectations. But now that the relationship is becoming more real, that means more vulnerability, more emotional intimacy, and all the rest that comes along with it. And it terrifies them to their core. It absolutely triggers them. And when they get triggered, they've learned to deactivate, to separate themselves from their emotions for their partner, suppress them, bury them, and not even allow themselves to access their own feelings for their partner. That's how they've learned to keep themselves safe. This all stems from childhood emotional neglect. This is a person that was consistently neglected as a child. They were not given the love and nurturing in the way that they needed. They grew up to personalize that neglect, to grow up to feel defective, unlovable, worthless, etc. That's why they have these big walls up around their heart, and that's also why they fear getting too close to somebody. They learned as a child that if you let anybody behind that wall, like your parents, you're going to get disappointed, rejected, and perhaps even outright abandoned. The fear is if I let down my wall, my partner is going to figure out that I'm defective and unlovable. So that's why they feel safe with emotional distance and they feel very unsafe with emotional closeness. The holidays naturally build emotional closeness, which is very triggering to them. The other primary trigger during the holidays, expectations. There are expectations that your significant other is going to show up for you during the holidays. Expectations that they're going to show that they care in various different ways. Perhaps giving a gift around Christmas, showing up and spending time with the family, introducing people to family and friends, making plans together for the holidays, taking trips together, just showing up emotionally, physically, and otherwise for your partner in general. Expectations are very triggering for avoidance, even the bare minimum expectations. In addition to that childhood emotional neglect, they often grew up in households with very high expectations on them by their parents or caretakers, expectations that they struggled to meet, and they were only given love and affection based off of exceeding those expectations. So they grow up with the feeling that if anybody has any kind of expectations on them, even the bare minimum, they're going to disappoint this person. They're not going to be able to meet the expectations. And what they've learned to do is to avoid. They were never shown how to process emotions. They were never shown how to deal with stress. They were never shown how to deal with any situations that are difficult. They've learned to avoid it, stuff it, run away from it. So when they get triggered around the holidays, their instinct is to cut and run, to protect themselves. The thing is, when they are discarding a partner or pulling away from a partner around Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, or any of the holidays, they're not thinking of the devastating impact it'll have on this person. They're not thinking of the way that they're ruining the holidays for their supposed loved one. They're thinking of themselves. They're thinking of whatever they perceive that they want, need, feel, or fear in the moment. An unhealed avoidant that is not working on themselves prioritizes themselves and their own emotions over their partner. This is why they can come across very selfish, because they are considering themselves and they're not considering the other person. So if you've been devastated, heartbroken, and absolutely shattered around the holidays by an avoidant, and you are a kind, loving, consistent partner, don't blame yourself. You wouldn't have done that to them, and you didn't deserve it happening to you. You loved this person unconditionally. You gave them your full effort, commitment, and energy, and you deserve the same in return. You didn't deserve a broken heart around the holidays, and you wouldn't have done it to them, so don't sell yourself short. It's a reflection of them, not you. It's a reflection of their character, not anything you did wrong. It's a reflection of their attachment wounds as well. But at the end of the day, they had a choice, and this is what they chose to do. When people show you who they are, believe them. They can heal this, absolutely. They can make different choices, but you can't fix anybody. You can't force anybody to heal, to grow, to change. They have to find that within themselves, which means they have to actually self-reflect on their emotions and behavior, which is the opposite of avoiding, and take accountability. But that's up to them. They can learn the capacity to also consider others' feelings and needs, but it's up to them. You can't force it, but don't blame yourself.